You walk into a room, you know your stuff, you've done the work, but the moment you open your mouth, your voice trails off, the room moves on, and someone else gets the credit. Does it sound familiar? The problem isn't your knowledge, it's how you communicate it. I'm Ravi Motwani, author, leadership coach, and I have spent years helping professionals find their voice, own their presence, and speak in a way that commands attention and even respect. What you're about to watch is my Communication Skills Masterclass. 90 minutes of the most practical communication advice I've ever put together. We are going from the basics of becoming an excellent communicator to the exact words that weaken your authority and how to replace them to mastering public speaking and presentations. To emotional intelligence that separates good communicators from great leaders. Every video in this masterclass is something I created for you, the working professional who wants to be heard, who wants to be respected, who wants to be remembered. I've curated 11 videos from my communication skills series and sequenced them so each one builds on the last. Save this video, block 90 minutes, watch it without distraction, because every chapter has something that you can use at work tomorrow. And if you're new here, subscribe to my channel. I post videos every week. So let's begin. Here is what we will be covering today. You know what is the best investment you can make on yourself? No, not SIPs. It's improving your communication skills. You're looking at building relationships, or moving up the corporate ladder, or growing your network, or asking for something, or simply expressing yourself. Communication is the key. Now, you can be a student, you can be a salesperson, you can be a doctor, you can be a gym instructor, or a leader. Having good communication skills is a must. Now, communication skills is a never-ending process, right? One fine day, you cannot just get up and say, hey, I'm great at communication. I don't need to learn anything. No, it doesn't work that way. Every day, there is something new to learn. There is always scope for you to improve on your communication skills. And that's the beauty of it. You can improve communication skills at any age. In this video, I'm going to share 5 simple tips to improve your communication skills. Tip number 1, focus on your body language. Body language is an important element of communication. So use your upper body, use your arms, stand tall with your back straight, confidently. Do not fold your hands and stand, or put your hands behind or put your hands in the pocket. That shows signs of nervousness. To emphasize your point, use your hands. Use gestures to complement your message. Moving a lot is also distracting. That can distract the listener. Or fidgeting with your hands can also be a sign of nervousness. So try to avoid this and use your arms as much as you can. Tip number 2 is to build your confidence. Confidence is a much needed skill to become a great communicator. And nervousness will be there. Who is not nervous? Everyone is nervous. But we need to maintain our calm composure. We cannot get hyper. We cannot get anxious. We have to practice breathing to control our body and mind. Breathing works wonders. So practice deep breathing. Another way to hide the nervousness is to smile. Whenever you're nervous, smile. You will be able to hide your nervousness and people won't notice that. Tip number 3, know the people you're speaking with. Understand the environment. Is it formal? Is it informal? Are these office folks? Is it a family event? Listen more. Speak less. Don't agree with everything that everyone is saying. Give your opinion, give your point of view, right? And it is very important for you to ask questions and ask the right questions, like what do you do, or which company do you work for, or what is happening in the industry. Don't ask questions like what is your salary, or do you have a girlfriend, do you have a boyfriend. That is not needed. Be interested in the person and people will love to have you around. Tip number 4, keep your message simple and clear. There is absolutely no need of using heavy words or using jargons that people don't understand and they need a dictionary to understand what you're trying to say. Simple words are easily understood. We should also use a pace that people can understand. Try and match the pace of the person you're talking to. Don't be too fast, don't be too slow. Use the tone, use your voice modulation to emphasize on what you're feeling. If you're happy, you're excited, then show it in the voice modulation. If you're sad, then show it accordingly. Use pauses. Pauses are very important for people also to understand what you're saying and for you also to kind of breathe. Tip number 5, practice, practice, practice. So take your smartphone, think about a topic of your choice. Speak for 5 minutes and record it. Now watch the recording. Were you able to articulate yourself? Were you able to pass on the message? Did you use any fillers? What about body language? Were you able to use your hand gestures? Were you able to use the tone, the voice modulation? Were you able to smile? So record, observe, improve. Make a list of things that you liked and things that you disliked, and then keep improving on it. And here is a bonus tip. Watch video clips of the speakers or the leaders that you admire. Observe how they speak. Look at their body language. Look at how they answer questions. Learn from these leaders. Pick the traits from all of these leaders to improve your communication skills. इस वीडियो में मैं आपको एक सीक्रेट बताऊंगा कि कैसे आप किसी से भी कॉन्फिडेंटली बात कर सकते हैं, कैसे आपके पास टॉपिक की कमी नहीं होगी बात करने के लिए। बट पहले एक सवाल, क्या आप किसी से भी बात कर सकते हैं कॉन्फिडेंटली? आर यू एबल टू स्पीक टू एनीवन, अ स्ट्रेंजर, और डू यू फील अनकंफर्टेबल? क्या आप नर्वस हो जाते हैं किसी से बात करने? एक एग्जाम्पल देता हूं। लेट्स से कि आप लिफ्ट के अंदर जा रहे हैं और वहां पर ऑलरेडी कोई है, आपका रिएक्शन क्या है? क्या आप उनको देखेंगे, स्माइल देंगे, बात करेंगे, और विल यू जस्ट पुल आउट योर स्मार्टफोन और आप सिर्फ फोन पर देखोगे जब तक आपका फ्लोर आता है? पर अगर मैं बोलूं कि आपको उनसे बात करना है, कोई भी कॉन्वर्जेशन स्ट्राइक करना है, कोई भी टॉपिक के ऊपर उनसे बात करना है, हाउ डू यू फील? आपको अनकंफर्टेबल लग रहा है, या आप नर्वस हो, या आप बोलोगे कि मैं इनसे क्यों बात करूं, आई डोंट नो द पर्सन, व्हाई शुड आई इवन बॉदर? बराबर है, बट इस वीडियो को देखने के बाद आप एटलीस्ट ट्राई कर सकोगे, क्योंकि इस वीडियो में मैं आपको टिप्स शेयर करूंगा जिससे आप किसी से भी कहां भी बात कर सकते हो। यू विल बी एबल टू स्पीक विथ एनीवन। तो चलिए देखते क्या कवर करेंगे आज के इस वीडियो में। वी आर गोइंग टू डाइव इनटू द वर्ल्ड ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन एंड यू विल बी एबल टू improve the skills to talk to anyone. So these are the topics that I would be covering: the fear of communication, the importance of communication, the challenges to communicate, 5 tips that will help you talk to anyone, and a bonus tip. The bonus tip बहुत जरूरी है, ध्यान से देखिएगा। तो सबसे पहले आपको यह समझना है कि आप अकेले नहीं है। ऐसे हजारों लोग हैं जिनको डर लगता है किसी से बात करने को और टू स्ट्राइक अ कॉन्वर्जेशन। अगर 10 में से देखना है तो 8 या 9 लोगों को डर लगता है किसी से भी जाके रैंडमली बात करने को। एंड दैट मीन्स that you are not alone in this. There are many people who have this fear of speaking with strangers or of talking to anyone. अब कम्युनिकेशन इंपॉर्टेंट क्यों है? इट्स वेरी सिंपल। अगर आप एक इफेक्टिव कम्युनिकेटर हो तो आपके रिलेशनशिप्स बहुत स्ट्रांग होते हैं, आपके करियर अपॉर्चुनिटीज बढ़ जाते हैं, आपको सोशल गैदरिंग में या मीटिंग्स में या नेटवर्क इवेंट्स पे कंफर्ट लेवल ज्यादा होता है लोगों से बात करने में। इससे आपका पर्सनल और प्रोफेशनल डेवलपमेंट स्ट्रांग होता है। सी, कम्युनिकेशन इज अ फंडामेंटल एस्पेक्ट ऑफ आवर डेली लाइफ्स। अगर आपका कम्युनिकेशन अच्छा होता है तो आपका कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्ड होता है, उससे आपका ओवरऑल वेल बीइंग इंप्रूव हो जाता है, आपका नेटवर्क ग्रो होता है क्योंकि आप आराम से किसी से भी बात कर सकते हैं, आपके कनेक्शंस स्ट्रांग हो जाते हैं, ओवरऑल रिलेशनशिप, ओवरऑल करियर, पर्सनल प्रोफेशनल लाइफ आपका इंप्रूव हो जाता है। तो टिप्स जानने के पहले लेट्स एड्रेस सम कॉमन चैलेंजेस दैट पीपल फेस व्हाइल इनिशिएटिंग अ कॉन्वर्सेशन और हैविंग मीनिंगफुल डिस्कशंस। किसी से मीनिंगफुल बात करने में आप क्यों हेजिटेट करते हो? तो सबसे पहली बात यह है कि लोग क्या कहेंगे। अब देखो, लोगों का काम है कहना, तो वो कुछ ना कुछ तो कहेंगे, राइट? इससे क्या होता है कि आप ओवर थिंक करते हो कि लोग मेरे बारे में क्या सोच रहे हैं, या लोग मुझ पे हंसेंगे। ये सब आपके दिमाग को क्लाउड कर देता है और आपको ये सोचने पे मजबूर कर देता है कि लोग आपको कैसे देख रहे हैं या आपके बारे में क्या सोच रहे हैं। एंड दैट विल इम्पैक्ट योर कम्युनिकेशन, क्योंकि आप ओवर थिंक भी कर रहे हो और आप फिर टॉपिक के बारे में सोच नहीं रहे हो और उसके लिए आप साइलेंट हो जाओगे। दिस विल इम्पैक्ट योर कॉन्वर्जेशन, दिस विल not help you make any contribution to that particular conversation. ये सब ऑब्स्टिकल्स आपको कॉन्वर्जेशन पे फोकस नहीं करने देंगे और आपको लोगों के साथ कनेक्ट नहीं करने देंगे। सो कीप दीज डिस्ट्रैक्शंस अवे एंड जस्ट फोकस ऑन योर टॉपिक्स। अब प्रैक्टिकल टिप्स की बारी, जिसके लिए आप वेट कर रहे हैं। These tips, these techniques will help you improve on your communication skills and help you strike a conversation with anyone. पहली टिप सुनिए, एक्टिव लिसनिंग इज की। सामने वाला क्या बोलना चाह रहा है, लिसन टू अंडरस्टैंड, डोंट लिसन टू रिस्पॉन्ड। हम ये गलती बहुत बार करते हैं कि वो क्या बोल रहा है और मेरे को क्या बोलना है। Try and understand what the person is saying and show genuine interest in what the person is saying. तो एक्टिव लिसनिंग वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। दूसरा टिप बहुत सिंपल है, आपको एक्नॉलेज करना है सामने वाला क्या बोल रहा है, आपको फॉलो अप क्वेश्चन पूछना है। यू हैव टू बी इन्वॉल्व इन द कॉन्वर्सेशन, यू हैव टू शो दैट यू आर विद द पर्सन और आप समझ रहे हो वो क्या बोल रहे हैं। अगर उन्होंने कुछ किस बारे में बोला है तो आप उसके ऊपर एक फॉलो अप क्वेश्चन पूछिए, उससे ऐसा लगेगा कि यू आर कंप्लीटली इन्वॉल्व्ड इन दैट पर्टिकुलर कॉन्वर्सेशन। तीसरी टिप बहुत जरूरी है, आपकी बॉडी लैंग्वेज। आप अगर किसी से बात कर रहे हो और वहां पर कोई लड़की है या कोई लड़का है और वहां पर कॉन्स्टेंटली देख रहे हो और बात कर रहे हो, तो दैट इज नॉट अ गुड वे टू हैव अ कॉन्वर्सेशन। आपको अटेंटिव रहना है, आपको जो सामने वाला बोल रहा है, यू हैव टू लुक इन टू द पर्सन's आईज, यू हैव टू स्माइल, यू हैव टू शो योर हैंड मूवमेंट्स और जेस्चर्स सो दैट ऐसे लगे कि आप कंप्लीटली 100% यू आर विद द पर्सन। और लास्ट टिप, मास्टर द आर्ट ऑफ आस्किंग ओपन एंडेड क्वेश्चंस। ऐसे सवाल कीजिए जिसका जवाब लंबा हो। कि आपको मजा आया? हाँ, नहीं। आप कार में गए? नहीं, ट्रेन में। दीज आर क्लोज एंडेड क्वेश्चंस। आपको पूछना है कि ट्रिप कैसी थी, आप कहां कहां गए, टेल मी एवरीथिंग इन डिटेल। इससे क्या है, क्यूरियोसिटी राइज होती है और सामने वाले को इंटरेस्ट आता है, फिर वो कहानी शुरू करते हैं एंड दैट इज हाउ you build on the conversation. You have to be interested in that particular person. Okay? That will help you have a good, healthy conversation. मुझे याद है कैसे मैंने ये स्टार्ट किया था, बहुत नर्वसनेस थी स्टार्ट में, बट अगर आप ठान लेते हो कि ये करना है तो करना है, this is gonna transform your life, this will make you a better person, this will make you a very good communicator. मैं आज भी लिफ्ट में किसी को भी स्माइल करके किसी से भी कॉन्वर्सेशन स्ट्राइक करता हूँ। करना चाहिए, प्रैक्टिस करना ही चाहिए। तो इन समरी, कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स बहुत जरूरी है आपके पर्सनल लाइफ और प्रोफेशनल डेवलपमेंट के लिए। आपको एक वेल राउंडेड पर्सनालिटी, अ वेल राउंडेड पर्सन बनाएगी। लिसनिंग एक्टिवली, आस्किंग ओपन एंडेड क्वेश्चंस, फोकसिंग ऑन योर बॉडी लैंग्वेज, ये सब चीजें आप अगर प्रैक्टिस करोगे तो यू विल बिकम एन एक्सीलेंट कम्युनिकेटर इन नो टाइम। आपके रिलेशनशिप स्ट्रांग हो जाएंगे और आप लाइफ में आगे प्रोग्रेस करते रहोगे, आपके करियर अपॉर्चुनिटीज भी बढ़ जाएंगे। तो आप ये टिप्स ट्राई कीजिए, आप अपने आप को चैलेंज कीजिए कि नेक्स्ट टाइम आई गेट इनटू अ लिफ्ट और एनीवेयर, आई विल स्ट्राइक अ कॉन्वर्सेशन विद अ पर्सन दैट आई डोंट नो। ट्राई तो कीजिए, टेक दैट फर्स्ट स्टेप and you can see the difference. In no time you'll become a champion in talking to anyone. और एक बोनस टिप ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, अगर आप एक लड़के हो और लिफ्ट में लड़की है तो कॉन्वर्सेशन ऐसे स्टार्ट नहीं करना है कि यू लुक वेरी ब्यूटिफुल, डू यू हैव अ बॉयफ्रेंड, आर यू मैरिड, ऐसे कॉन्वर्सेशन स्ट्राइक नहीं करना है। यू कैन आस्क द पर्सन, ओके, वेयर डू यू वर्क, विच कंपनी डू यू वर्क, डू यू हैव अ हाइब्रिड मॉडल, या ट्रैफिक बहुत बढ़ गई है। दीज कॉन्वर्सेशंस डू नॉट गेट इनटू देयर पर्सनल लाइफ्स, नहीं तो वो दैट विल टेक अ डिफरेंट डायरेक्शन एंड आई एम नॉट रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर दैट। और मुझे बताना कि आपने कैसे स्टार्ट किया, आपके कॉन्वर्जेशंस, आपकी एक्सपीरियंस कैसे हुई। You have the data, you have the strategy, you are the smartest person in the room. Yet when you speak, people they're checking their phones. When you make a recommendation, it gets debated. When your colleague says the exact same thing 5 minutes later, they get the applause. Why is this happening? It's not your competence, it's your vocabulary. You are unknowingly injecting virus words into your communication that signal to the human brain, I am subordinate, do not listen to me. These aren't just grammar mistakes, they are authority killers. They are the specific reason you're being overlooked for that promotion and why your salary is stagnant. Today, we are cutting 3 specific words out of your vocabulary. If you stop saying these 3 words, you instantly shift from support staff to leader. Hi, I'm Ravi Motwani. As a leadership coach, I work in high stakes environments where perception is reality. I see brilliant professionals. They destroy their credibility every single day. Not because they had a bad idea, but because they wrapped a good idea in weak language. Research in professional communication is clear. Specific linguistic markers signal uncertainty. When you use them, you aren't being polite. You are signaling that you lack confidence in your own value. In the next 10 minutes, we are going to audit your speech. We are removing the fluff, the hesitation, and the apology. We are going to replace them with language that commands respect. So let's get to work. Authority killer 1, the minimizer. Just. The first word you need to eliminate immediately is the most dangerous minimizer in the English language. Just. I just wanted to check in. I just think maybe we should look at the budget. I'm just following up. Why is this word so destructive? When you put just in front of a sentence, you are subconsciously apologizing for taking up space. You're telling the recipient, I know my presence is an annoyance, so I'm going to make this as small as possible so you don't get mad at me. It's a permission seeking behavior. Let's look at the psychology here. If you are a leader, your time is valuable. Your check ins are important. Your opinions, they actually drive revenue. When you say, I just wanted to ask, you are devaluing your own inquiry before the other person has even heard it. Here's the audit. I want you to look at the last 5 emails that you sent. How many of them started with I just? Now, here's the fix. It's uncomfortable, but it works. Delete the word. Instead of I just wanted to see if you have time to review the report, say, have you reviewed the report? Instead of I just think we could try a different vendor, say, I recommend we try a different vendor. Do you feel the difference? The first one, it sounds like a suggestion from an intern who's afraid of being fired. The second one sounds like a director from a director who knows the market. This feels aggressive to people who are used to being passive. You might think, Ravi, won't I sound rude? No, you will sound clear. And brevity is not rudeness, brevity is executive presence. When you remove just, you remove the filter between your intellect and your impact. Authority killer number 2. The uncertainty trap. I feel like. The second phrase is a career killer in data driven environments. It is the phrase, I feel like. I feel like this strategy isn't working. I feel like Q4 is going to be tough. Unless you are a therapist or you are talking about the temperature of the air conditioning, your feelings are irrelevant in a boardroom. When you use I feel like to preface a business decision, you are explicitly stating that your conclusion is based on emotion, on intuition, or a hunch rather than analysis. Even if you have spent 40 hours analyzing the data, the moment you say, I feel like, you discredit that work. Senior leadership does not invest millions of dollars based on what you feel. They invest based on what you know, what you observe, what you project. This is a subtle shift, but it changes how your brain processes your own authority. If you're in a meeting and you disagree with the direction, do not say, I feel like this is too risky. That sounds like fear. Instead, use cognitive verbs. I believe this is too risky based on the current market. I predict this will fail because my analysis indicates. Or the ultimate power move, I recommend. Let's role play a high stakes scenario. You are asking for a budget increase. Now, here's the weak version. I feel like we had more budget, we could have got more leads. Result, request denied. You sound hopeful, not certain. Here's a strong version. Based on current CPA trends, I recommend increasing the budget by 20%. This will result in a projected 15% increase in lead volume. Result, request approved. You sound like you're in control of the outcome. Stop feeling, start recommending. Authority killer 3, the submissive reflex. Sorry. The third word is the most pervasive reflex in corporate culture. It is the word sorry. Now, let me be clear. If you make a mistake, if you miss a deadline, if you lose a client, if you spill coffee on your CEO, you apologize. You own it. That is integrity. I'm not talking about that accountability. I'm talking about the filler sorry. Sorry, can I ask you a question? Sorry to interrupt. Sorry, I might be wrong here, but sorry, is this a good time? Used this way, sorry is a defense mechanism. You're apologizing for your existence. You're apologizing for taking up space in the room. You're signaling to the pack that you are the lowest status individual in the hierarchy. If you have a question, it is because that question adds value to the meeting. You do not need to pay a sorry tax to ask it. If you need to interrupt, it is because the current conversation is off track or you have critical information. Here is the rule. Replace apologies with gratitude. This is a psychological hack that changes the dynamic of the room instantly. Scenario A is you're 5 minutes late for a meeting. Now, the weak version, so sorry I'm late, traffic was terrible, sorry guys. You have just made the meeting about your failure. Here's a strong version. Thank you for waiting. Let's get started. Now you have acknowledged their time, maintained your status, and pivoted immediately to business. Let's take another scenario. You need to interrupt a rambling colleague. Here's a weak response. Sorry to cut in. A strong one is, I'd like to pause you there and pivot to the next point. Another one. You catch a typo in the presentation. Weak one, oh, sorry about that typo. The strong one is correct it and move on or ignore it. Do not draw attention to your flaws. When you stop saying sorry, For things that aren't offenses, you preserve your apology capital for when you actually screw up. If you say sorry 100 times a day, it means nothing when it matters. So here's the psychology of authority. Why is it so hard? Why do we cling to just, I feel sorry? Because we are afraid of being perceived as arrogant. We are afraid of being too much. But in leadership, there is a massive difference between arrogance and authority. Arrogance is insecurity masked as loudness. Authority is competence delivered with clarity. By removing these three words, you aren't becoming a jerk. You are becoming a professional who respects their own time and the time of everyone around them. So, here is a challenge for you. For the next 24 hours, it is the zero apology challenge. Monitor your emails and your speech. Catch yourself before you type just. Catch yourself before you say I feel and did not say sorry unless you have actually caused harm. It will feel unnatural. It will feel exposed. But watch how people react to you. They will stop interrupting. They will start taking notes. You could be the most talented person in the room, but if you're saying any of these seven things at work, you are silently destroying your own career. I'm talking about phrases that make your boss question your leadership potential, that makes your colleagues stop trusting you, and that make you look like the last person anyone would promote. Stay with me because number four surprises almost everyone. In over a decade of coaching professionals and leaders, I have heard every career limiting phrase that is possible, everything you can imagine. And what's fascinating is that most people who say these things have absolutely no idea how damaging they sound. They think they're being honest or humble or just casual. But in the workplace, perception is everything, isn't it? Words are not just words, they are signals. And today I'm going to show you exactly which signals are holding you back and what to say instead. So let's jump to number one. That's not my job. You heard that before. You said that before. That's not my job. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. Imagine you're in a team meeting and your manager asks if someone could make a note of the key points. A colleague sighs and says, "That's not really my job." How does that land? Immediately, they've communicated that they are not a team player. They are transactional. They will just do their job. That is the bare minimum and nothing more. Itna paisa mein itna hi milega, right? But here's the brutal truth. The most successful professionals I have ever coached didn't wait to be asked twice. They understood that every time they step outside their defined role, the expected role, and that too voluntarily, they're building their image. You're becoming the person people rely on. And you know what? That is the person who gets promoted. So the next time you feel tempted to say, "That's my job," say it, but in your mind. Outside, you can say, "I can help with that. Let me check my schedule and confirm." Even if you can't do it, the fact that you said you will change, it'll change how people see you. Number two is the three words that instantly reduce your credibility. I don't know. Now, of course, there are times when you genuinely don't have the answer. And I have even made a video on this that leaders don't need to know everything. And it's okay to say, "I don't know." That's normal, that's human. But there's a massive difference between saying, "I don't know," full stop, and saying, "I don't have that information right now, but I'll find out and get back to you by the end of the day or the end of the week." The first signals ineffectiveness. The second signals ownership. It says, "I am someone who takes responsibility for finding solutions." That is a leadership quality. And leadership qualities, they get noticed. Every time you catch yourself about to say, I don't know, add three more words, but I'll find out. That one phrase will change how your entire team sees your competence. Number three, and this one is a career prison for anyone who wants to be seen as a future leader. We have always done it this way. You would have heard this, right? The moment you say this in front of a decision maker, you have just told them, I am resistant to change. I'm comfortable, not curious. Don't give me responsibility for innovation. Companies are not looking to promote people who protect the status quo. They're looking for people who question it, who challenge the existing system, and thoughtfully, who bring fresh ideas, even when it's uncomfortable. So instead, you try that. That approach has worked well in the past. I'm wondering if there's a way we could build on it or if we could improve it. Your value, what exists while showing your forward thinking, that combination is rare and incredibly valuable. Number four, and I told you this one would surprise you. I'll try. I know. It sounds harmless. It even sounds positive. But here's what people actually hear when you say, I'll try. They hear I'm already preparing my excuse for when I won't deliver. I'll try is non committal. It gives you an escape route. And consciously or not, people sense that. Your boss doesn't want someone who'll try to hit the deadline. They want someone who will hit the deadline or proactively communicate before it becomes a problem. So replace I'll try with I will, or I'll do my best and update you if anything changes. Commitment in your language creates confidence in others, keep in mind. And confidence in others gets you more responsibility, more visibility, and ultimately more opportunity. I have seen this many times myself. Number five, that's not fair. I want to be careful here because sometimes things genuinely aren't fair. Some organizations or teams in pockets, can have biases, can have politics, can have favoritism. I'm not dismissing the reality. I know and I hear from a lot of leaders I coach. But the way you respond to unfairness is everything. Because saying that's not fair out loud, especially in front of others, immediately positions you as someone who's reactive, who's emotional, and focused on blaming others rather than finding solutions. The professional who gets taken seriously is the one who says, I'd like to understand the decision making process here. Can we set up some time to discuss it? That response shows emotional intelligence. It shows maturity. It opens a door rather than slamming one. You can absolutely advocate for yourself, but do it strategically, not reactively. Number six, the words that will follow you in every performance review. It's not my fault. Here's the thing. Even when something truly isn't your fault, rushing to say that is a red flag. It signals that your first instinct is self protection, not problem solving. The most respected professionals I've worked with share a common habit. When something goes wrong, their first question is, what can we do to fix this? Not who do we blame. High performers, they take ownership of outcomes even when they weren't entirely responsible for the problem. Why? Because ownership builds trust, and trust is the currency of career advancement. So, next time something goes sideways, resist the urge to defend yourself first. Instead, say, here's what happened, here's what I've already done to address this, and here's how we make sure it doesn't happen again. That one response will make you stand out more than almost anything else on the list. And number seven, the one almost everyone is guilty of. I'm so busy. Now, we live in a culture that has glorified busyness. And I get it. When someone asks how you're doing, saying I'm so busy feels like a badge of honor. It says I'm important, I'm in demand, my time is valuable. But here's what your colleagues and leaders are actually thinking. If you're always this overwhelmed, can I really give you more responsibility? Do you have the capacity to lead a project? Do you have the bandwidth to handle what comes next? Busy, it signals chaos. Instead, try, I have a lot on right now. I'm managing it well. What do you need? Or even better, just answer the question without the complaint. That signals control, composure, capacity. And those are the qualities of someone ready for the next level. So let's recap the 7 phrases to eliminate from your professional vocab. Starting today. Number 1, that's not my job. Number 2, I don't know without a follow-up. Number 3, we have always done it this way. Number 4, I'll try. Number 5, that's not fair. Number 6, it's not my fault. And number 7, I'm so busy. These aren't just phrases. These are the difference between being seen as someone stuck at their current level and someone who's absolutely ready for what comes next. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these 7 have you been guilty of? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one, and I promise you're not alone. Number 4 gets people every time. And if you're on a leadership journey, do check out my new book, Speak, Lead, Inspire. You might know how to lead. This book will show you how to do it. You've probably seen this happen at work. 2 people, they say the same thing, but one gets nods and approval and the other is ignored. I once worked with a young manager, smart, capable, but every time she spoke, people cut her off. Not because she lacked knowledge, but because her communication leaked doubt. She used phrases like, I think maybe, I'm not sure, but just my opinion. And the room, they stopped taking her seriously. 3 months later, with a few communication shifts, senior leaders started calling her the most confident young manager we have. Her ideas didn't change. The way she spoke did. So today, I'll give you 5 exact communication habits that make people listen. And I'll show you word for word phrases that you can start using tomorrow. Leadership communication is not about English fluency or vocabulary. It's about clarity, it's about confidence, and it's about control of your message. If your words feel weak, people treat your presence as weak. Simple as that. To speak like a leader, use the LEAD framework. Every time you talk, L is language of confidence, E is eliminate fillers and apologies, A is anchor your message with structure, and D is direct call to action or CTA. Let's break each one down with templates. So the first one is language of confidence. Now here are some examples of weak language. I think maybe, we could possibly, I'm not sure, but. Now instead use strong language like this. Based on data, here's what makes sense. This is the most efficient approach. Here's what we should do next. Or use this phrase and see the difference. Here's the problem, here's the impact, and here's what I recommend. The second one is eliminate fillers and these apologies that people have. Stop saying just. Sorry, can I add something? Quick question when it's not quick at all. Every just sounds like a permission slip you don't need. Now replace it with, I want to add one point. I have a question. Here's what we need to clarify. Now here's a small challenge for you. Record yourself speaking for 2 minutes. Count your like, basically just, and remove 30% by next week. You will sound 2x more credible. The third one is anchor your message with structure. Now people respect speakers who organize thought. So use this. There are 3 parts. Or before we decide, here are 2 options. Or let me summarize what matters. And here's a mini template for you. Context is options, is recommendation. So here's an example. Here's the situation. We have two options. My recommendation is option B because it saves cost and time. Isn't it simple? This alone separates you from the average speakers. The fourth one is direct call to action. Now, don't end your statements weakly. Here are some examples of weak endings. So, yeah, that's what I think. Let me know. Instead, use this. If there are no objections, I will proceed. Or let's finalize by Friday. Or what do you need from me to move forward? See the difference? Leaders guide the room, they don't wait for validation. And the fifth one, bonus, control your pace. Fast speech, it shows anxiety. Leadership pace should be measured, slow, and intentional. So try this. After delivering your main point, pause 2 seconds. Let silence do the work. Silence signals confidence. So in your next meeting, prepare your message using context, options, and recommendation. Speak slower than usual. End with a clear action. You will immediately feel the room take you more seriously. And to drive my point, here's a final comparison of before after. Before is like, I'm not sure, but I think maybe the vendor delay is why we are missing deadlines. The after is the delay comes from the vendor. Two solutions: extend timelines or change suppliers. My recommendation: change supplier. Cost difference is minimal, reliability is higher. If everyone is okay, I'll start the process today. No arrogance, just clarity. I want you to reflect on this. So ask yourself, which weak phrases do I use the most? And do this exercise for the next 7 days. Write down every time you say just, maybe, I think, sorry, but, and replace them with stronger phrases. You will hear respect in people's tone within 1 week. People don't follow leaders because they are loud. They follow leaders who speak with direction, with conviction. You don't need to change who you are. You just need to speak in a way that represents the value you already bring. So if you want to level up your leadership game, check out the leadership series that I've made for you. And yes, subscribe so you don't miss valuable leadership content. How can you speak like a leader? Or is there any such thing as speak like a leader? We'll find out in this video. But first, a simple question for you. Do you like public speaking? Let me guess. The answer is no, right? And I'm not really surprised. Have you heard of glossophobia? Well, glossophobia is the fear of public speaking, and it actually ranks higher than the fear of death. Just imagine. So it's obvious that a lot of leaders shy away from public speaking, from going on the stage or giving an update to a larger forum. You're aware of the symptoms, right? I mean, I've seen that, I've experienced that, and I'm sure at some point in your career you would have experienced that. The shaky legs, the sweaty palms, the dry throat, the trembling words, and the heart which is pumping so hard that it just wants to come out of your mouth. These are the symptoms of the fear of public speaking. So what happens next? Well, typically there are two responses. The first one, after this huge embarrassment, You convince yourself that this is not for me. This is not my cup of tea. And with that excuse, you swear that you will never ever go on stage. You will never look at any speaking opportunity. You run away from any such opportunity. In short, I feel that you block your personal growth. This is also known as the flight mode. Okay, let's move on to the second scenario. Here you say to yourself, not bad for a start. At least I didn't faint or I didn't die on stage. With that, you say to yourself that I'll try again. Now, the key word here is try again. So you give it another attempt and you're better this time. And you keep doing it till you transform into a good public speaker. This mode is also known as the fight mode, where you don't give up. And I'm sure a lot of you watching this are familiar with this and you didn't give up. And today you can confidently speak in front of a crowd. If not, I'm sure you'll get there soon. Okay, now you must be wondering, when will we get on to the topic? Speak like a leader. So let's jump into it. But before that, a small exercise. No, you don't have to get up or do anything like that. It's a mental exercise. So close your eyes and think about your ideal leader. Think about a leader whom you admire, whom you aspire to be like. He or she can be from your same organization or same industry or some other industry or some other country for that matter. Done? Okay. So what is that one trait that makes that person a great leader? Now, don't tell me looks. Don't tell me that he's so handsome or she's really beautiful. The one trait is the way they speak with people, the way that they make you feel. It's their personality, it's their character, it's their aura that makes them a great leader. Now imagine you have a gun, a loaded gun. I know you don't have one, but just stay with me on this one. You have a gun, you pull the trigger, bang, it pierced into the target, and the damage is done. Now tell me, is there a way to put the bullet back into your gun? No, right? That's how the spoken words act. The words that you speak are like bullets which are fired from the gun. So you have to think before you speak and not jump the gun and respond immediately. So you might ask me, what's the solution? And I have a very simple solution for this. Stop. The acronym. S for stop. There is no need to respond immediately. You're not sitting in a contest with fastest finger first. So stop. T is for think. Think about what the person has asked you or what the person has said. O is for organize your thoughts that are coming in response to what the person has asked. Organize your thoughts. All great leaders are good at articulating their thoughts. So organize your thoughts, and then P is for proceed. All great leaders follow this technique. You can look at this link. Steve Jobs. Someone actually asked him in his most iconic moments, what's the one thing you personally learned at Apple that you're doing it next? His answer? He paused for 18 seconds. 18 seconds. Then he said, good question, and then he answered it. That, I am sure, he was following the stop technique then. Pauses are very powerful. Use them wisely. Okay, how many of you leaders have meetings? Your stand-up meetings, your weekly leadership meetings, your staff meetings. We love our meetings, right? Now, next time you have your meeting, observe how much you speak and how much your team members speak. Just observe if there is a problem, if there's a challenge, if there's an issue. Are you the first one who actually gives the solution? Or do you let your team brainstorm and share their opinion or suggestions? Just observe that. Because if you give the solution first, no one would oppose it. They would just align to it. They want to agree with their boss, right? And that's why you're curbing the creativity or curbing the solution or the suggestions that your team has. Now, Simon Sinek says, leaders eat last. I say, leaders speak last. Okay, I want to give a disclaimer before the next one, right? I don't want to get into any controversy, all right? Any Shashi Tharoor fans? Shashi Tharoor, a well-spoken politician. Well, nothing against Shashi Tharoor, but a lot of people are in awe of how he speaks. The words that sometimes are difficult to find in a dictionary. If I start speaking like Mr. Tharoor, my team would be confused and lost. Well, this is my opinion that leaders should be very simple in their words and easy to understand. That is how they become effective communicators. So don't use any jargons, any fancy words, any technical words that your team doesn't understand. In my opinion, leaders should kiss. Follow the KISS technique. Keep it short and simple. Now, have you been to a meeting where the leader is going on and on and on, like as if he's going round and round in circles, and you were not really understanding what the person is trying to say? We all have come out of meetings where we are like, what was he trying to say? Or what did she mean? So as a leader, to be effective, you need to keep it short and simple. I challenge you, next time you're giving an update, try to use lesser words and get to the point. This will make your communication very effective. Another very important aspect that a lot of great leaders do is they assess the audience and then they customize to the requirement. So you need to understand, is it a board meeting that you're giving an update in? Or is it a team huddle? Is it a off-site team outing? Or is it just an unorganized brainstorming session? It's very important for you to understand your audience and customize your content to suit what they're looking for. For example, if I am addressing a corporate crowd as a keynote speaker, the way I will speak or my content will be very different than addressing a college student crowd at a university. So assess your audience, understand the demographics, and then accordingly customize your content and your delivery to suit that. And lastly, this is so important. Put passion in what you're saying. I am very excited to say that we met our sales target for last quarter and the earnings have been good. Tell me, is this a way to give an update, such an exciting update? Show the passion. I'm super excited to say that we met our sales targets. Put in the intonation, the inflection, the energy, the passion in what you're saying. That would take your update to the next level. And also keep in mind the non-verbal cues, your body language, your facial expressions. Do you smile when you speak? Are you having eye contact with the audience? Are you connecting with the audience? Are you using your hand gestures to express your message? All this is so important. A lot of leaders just stand behind the podium or put their hands in their pocket. Don't do that. I know it's difficult, but practice. With practice, you can do anything. And what's with these leaders who are so serious, they never smile? Is that a job requirement? Is it that as you move up the hierarchy that you have to become serious? Come on, your leadership doesn't have to be serious. Add that sense of humor. I love doing that, and it always works and helps you connect with your people. So don't be so serious. Remember, mastering this art of speaking like a leader requires time, effort, and patience. But the payoff is worth it. Better career opportunities, stronger workplace relationships, and success in the field or your domain is for sure guaranteed. And all it takes for you to speak confidently like a leader is to take the first step and believe that you can. And I would like to close with some motivational words. You can write this down somewhere or make a note of it. I had this as my phone screensaver for a long time. I can, I will, end of story. And I'm super confident that you can and you will speak like a leader. How to become a good speaker, and that's today's topic. Now this one is highly requested, so I finally made this one. Now research says that 85% of the speakers are actually nervous about public speaking. I think the other 15% are lying. The fact is, everyone is nervous before going on stage. There are these butterflies in our stomach, right? And our heart, it seems that it's on a treadmill, pumping really fast. Our knees go weak, and our palms are sweaty, and we turn red. It feels so hot. All of this is natural. Everyone feels nervous while going on stage. And today, I will share some tips which will help you train those butterflies. Now, these 10 tips are going to help you master the art of public speaking. So let's get started. Now, these tips are divided into these 3 sections. The first one is the preparation section. All of what happens before your D-Day, before the day that you're about to present. The second one is the pre-stage section. This is when you're in the green room or backstage before you hit the stage. And the last one is on-stage section. This is when you're actually on the stage, live in action. So let's start with the preparation section. So tip number 1 is know your audience. Understand what kind of event you have been invited to speak. Understand if it's a college event, if it's a corporate event, if these are group of professionals, which industry do they belong to? What is the topic? It's very important to focus on the topic, because if you know what the topic is all about, you'll be more confident and comfortable presenting it. Based on your audience, you need to customize and tailor your presentation. Your presentation should suit the audience. And in your presentation, there's broadly 3 parts, right? You have the opening, you have the body, and then you have the closing. Opening and closing, very important, and we'll talk about that. Tip number 2, spend time on your content. Make it very creative. Keep the slides very light. Don't make it heavy. Don't put a lot of content on the slides. Now, I have seen leaders who have a lot of content on the slide and they say, oh, this slide might be an eye test for you, or, this is a busy slide. But why put a busy slide? Now, research says that the moment the audience see a busy slide, they lose interest.
Now, I say what you do is keep bullet points, pictures, infographics, and then you speak about it. Elaborate each point, but spend time on your content so that the content is light, creative, and has a good connect. Tip number 3, make cue cards. Now, a lot of speakers, they have a script that they write down, right, of covering all the points of their presentation. Now, a few speakers, they carry a script and it becomes very confusing, or most of the time you're just reading. Now, in that, you lose the connect of the audience. So my suggestion is to make small cue cards which have pointers of what you need to speak. And you can carry the cue cards, that's absolutely fine. But make sure that you cover all the points or the important points that you want the audience to take away. Now let's move on to the next section, which is the pre-stage section. This is when you are in the green room, sitting and getting ready to go on stage. Now your mind is running at 100 kilometers per hour speed because these two monkeys are continuously throwing thoughts in your head. Let's talk more about the monkeys. Tip number 4, feed the good monkey. Now in your head, you remember when we used to watch cartoons, there used to be one voice which is the angel and the other voice which is the devil. Similarly, we have the good monkey and the bad monkey. The bad monkey is the one who's continuously giving you negative thoughts. You will forget your lines, people will laugh at you, I don't think you'll do a good job. And the good monkey is telling you, all is well, you got this, you're gonna give a fantastic presentation. So you need to feed the good monkey. You need to think good thoughts and positive thoughts. Tip number 5, visualize. This is a powerful technique that a lot of great speakers use. Now, this technique, you have to look at two things. The first one, you have to visualize that you are on stage and you are calm, confident, and you're delivering a fantastic presentation. You remember all your points and your body language is great. You're using hand gestures and you are in a very commanding position. The second type of visualization is from the audience front. You visualize that the audience is loving your presentation. They are applauding for you. They are clapping. They are smiling. They love your presentation. A lot of speakers use this technique. You can try it out. Tip number 6, I think this is one of the most important tips before you're going on stage. Breathe. Whenever we are anxious or stressed out, what happens? Our heart beats faster and then we go out of breath. Now this reflects in our voice, right? We need to calm our mind. We need to get the heartbeat down. And there's a very simple technique which does wonders. It is known as the 5-4-7 technique. Breathe in for 5 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out for 7 seconds. This immediately calms your mind. It brings the heartbeat down and you are more confident. Now that we are done with the tips for backstage, let's move on to the next section. On stage, it's showtime. So tip number 7 is your body language. Now imagine this. How should you go on stage? Should you run with the energy towards the podium, or should you walk slowly, calmly, confidently towards the podium? Now both the ways are right. You can do whatever you're comfortable with. Just don't trip and fall down on stage. Now that you're on stage, Don't try and cover the stage and keep moving, sideways or, back and forth. What happens is that is very distracting for the audience. Here's a suggestion. You identify 3 spots on the stage. Go to spot number 1 and deliver 1/3 of your speech. Then you calmly, confidently move to the second spot and then continue your speech. And then to the third spot where you can complete your speech. This shows confidence and it is less distraction. Now, with regards to your body posture, right? You stand tall with the body weight on both your legs, your back straight and your shoulders back. All right. Now, don't put your hands in your pocket or fold your hands or fidget with your hands. Use your hands to emphasize on your message. Use hand gestures to make a point, to prove a point. Tip number 8 is probably the most important part of your presentation or your speech. It is your delivery. So when you are starting, focus on the opening. Look at building the curiosity. So start with something that the audience is not expecting. A date, a quote, an incident, a story, a question, or do something which they are not expecting. That will catch everyone's attention, and then you can sync it to your topic of presentation. Speak slowly, clearly, loudly. People should be able to hear you clear. So normally if you're speaking at a decibel, try and pump it up a little bit to show that energy in your presentation. A lot of times people feel that they have to rush through it and finish it off and go down stage, right? Don't do that. Don't let your pace match your heartbeat. The rate of speech should be slow, which is easy to understand. Use simple words, simple language. Avoid jargons, avoid fancy words, avoid words that people are not able to understand because they won't be able to connect to what you're saying. Articulate your words clearly, speak clearly, use voice intonation, use inflection, use your tone. If there's something that you're talking about that shows excitement, then show it in your tone. If there is something which is insightful, then you can pause. Let people reflect on it. If you're sad, then show it in your tone. Use pauses. Pauses are very powerful. They give time to the audience to digest and understand what you're saying, and they also give you time to breathe. Now, tip number 9 is eye contact. Eye contact is very important to make that connection and engagement with the audience. So you remember the 3 spots I spoke about. When you are on one spot, you cover that section of the audience. Look at people in their eyes. Look at people who are smiling and acknowledging, who are actually supporting you. They will feel the connection. Never look at the ceiling or the floor or at one section of the audience throughout the speech. So when you go to these 3 spots, just try and cover left, right, center. Left, right, center. So that way, everyone will feel connected to you and would follow what you're saying. And the last tip, tip number 10, practice, practice, practice. You will become perfect, you will become better only if you practice. Now you can practice in front of a mirror, you can practice in front of your friends, your colleagues, you can practice by recording on your phone and by looking at your hand gestures, your fillers, the way you're speaking. It will really help you. Now practice can also be preparing for your speech. And another way of practicing is to keep doing more and more of what you're doing, right? If you give more speeches, you will keep getting better and better. So practice will make you perfect, and practice will make you successful. And finally, here is a bonus tip. Wear the best accessory in this world, which is free. Smile. Smile will make you more appealing, will help you connect with your audience, and will also hide your nervousness. Presentations. Do you like to give presentations? No? Why? Oh, you don't like to speak in front of an audience. You're scared, right? Well, you're not alone. There was a survey which was done recently which showed that people fear public speaking more than death. Yeah. But the truth is that someday you will have to give a presentation in your career. You cannot escape that. Well, by watching this video, your fear will come down a little bit as I share 6 simple tips to improve your presentation skills. So let's start. Tip number 1 is the content. Understand who your audience is. Are you doing a presentation for the new hires? Is it a business review with the leadership team? Is it a sales pitch or an update in the town hall? It's very important to understand who the audience is. Next, how much time do you have? Is it a virtual meeting or is it in office? Once you understand all of this, you need to start jotting down points. What do you want to cover in your presentation? What are the points? How would you elaborate them? And then look at creating an outline of it. Once you have this outline ready, think about how you want to show it in your presentation. The data, the trends, the numbers. Think about all the elements that are important. One suggestion is to review this with your boss so that you don't miss out on important elements. Tip number 2 is creativity. Now that you have all the points that you want to cover in your deck, think about how creatively you can plug the data. The data should seamlessly transition from one slide to the other, like a smooth flow. There should be a connection. A lot of times, people present and one slide looks very different than the other. Another mistake that a lot of leaders do is they plug in all the content on the slide and then they just read it. That is very boring. Don't do that. You lose half of your audience once you put up a busy slide. It is very difficult to engage them. So think about reducing the content. Just put bullet points and then elaborate in your talk track. Think about how you can show that data in maybe a pie chart or a graph or like in a picture or infographic way. Something which is more engaging, which is more light. So think out of the box. Be creative about it. Tip number 3, most important. How will you deliver? Think about your update like a story. It must have a great opening, a decent body, and a good closing. The opening of your update decides how the audience would be engaged with it. So ensure that you have a hook. Now imagine this. I walk on the stage I pause, I look around, and I ask, how many of you were born in 1999? Now, this was my opening in the last presentation that I did for the MBA students. For sure, I got their attention. So, this is how you can think of ideas on how you will do something which is not expected. And please don't start by saying, hello, everyone, hi, all, good morning. Don't do that. Think of creative ways. On 12th Feb 2017, I wasn't sure if I did the right thing by joining this team. And then continue with your story. Or start with a quote from a famous industry leader and then elaborate and connect it to your update. Or simply show a picture and pause. Let the audience be curious about what it is and then narrate the story and connect it to your updates. A great opening is half the battle won. Be creative. Okay, surprise your audience with your opening and then get on to the regular updates. You already have the bullet points. You can elaborate. So less is more on the slide. And then you can have your talk track. You can talk about it, and then slowly move on to the closing. Closing is equally important. Leave the audience with a message or leave them with a thought. By 2025, we will grow to X. Or our dream is to reach $1 billion in revenue. It's very important to close it with a subtle thought. Tip number 4 is body language. Body language plays a crucial role in making your presentation a hit. I've done a detailed video on communication skills. You can check it out here. So, energy is vital to take your presentation to the next level. Give your 100%. Be enthusiastic. Use voice modulation. If there is an important point, slow down and get the tone down so that people understand. Smile, eye contact. Maintain the eye contact. If it's an audience, large audience, ensure that you're covering all the sections of the audience. And it's very important to also use your body language. Okay. So emphasize any important point with your hand gestures. Humor is also a great ingredient. Okay, but not everyone can pull it. So use it only if you feel that you can pull it. You can plug in a couple of subtle lighter moments in your presentation. That also breaks the monotony and it covers any nervousness that you might have. Tip number 5, I don't even have to say, practice. Practice makes a person perfect, right? So form a group of your trusted friends, who can be, someone who would review and you can practice your presentation with, right? Take feedback from them, uh, understand what they are saying, and then improvise. Another way is also to, practice in front of a mirror or best, record it on your smartphone and see how you're, showing up. And then you can slowly improve. Tip number 6, many people ignore this. It's testing. Okay. If you are to go to office and present it in person, then ensure that you go there 15 minutes, 20 minutes before the scheduled time and take a look of the environment. Understand, get familiar with the surroundings, right? You can also do a mic testing. You understand, visualize and see where you're going to start, where you're going to stop, how you're going to present. And if it's a virtual update, then please ensure that your internet is good, you have a good connection. See that you're wearing a headset so that people can hear you clearly, and see that your background is clean, or else use a virtual background, which is professional, right? See, these are the basics, right? And once you're done with the update, if you're in office, then hand over the podium to the host, shake your hand. This is a nice way to hand it over. Or if you're doing it virtually, then say over to you, and then call out the person who's going to speak after you.
7 common mistakes leaders must avoid. That's today's topic. And I know for sure that the last one is the most common one. So let's dive in. But first, let's understand why communication matters. Well, communication is the backbone of leadership. Trust, relationships, alignment, motivation, all of this depends on how effectively you communicate. In fact, research shows, and we all know, that poor communication costs organizations millions of dollars. And communication is not just talking, it's about connection, it's about clarity, it's about empathy. When communication breaks, leadership weakens. So let's break down the 7 critical mistakes. Mistake number 1, assuming understanding. Now imagine sharing an update or giving instructions and thinking everyone gets it. But halfway through, it's clear the team is confused. This is the classic assuming understanding trap. I once worked with a manager who told his team to prioritize customer satisfaction. Now the team interpreted it differently, leading to wasted effort. So what's the solution? Simple. Always ask for feedback or summaries. Can you tell me how you understood this? To confirm clarity. So always confirm. It doesn't cost anything. Mistake number 2, overloading with information. Ever been bombarded with emails, long emails, or meetings filled with tons of information? I wonder how people get the time to write such long emails. See, overloading your team slows decision making and it creates stress. For example, a senior leader once held a meeting with 21 agenda items. 21. The result, no clear outcome. Instead, you should break communication into chunks and then focus only on the top 3 to 5 priorities and use clear, concise language. Break down information into digestible chunks. It always works. Mistake number 3 is ignoring feedback. I always say that leaders who talk but don't listen, they miss the critical insights. I remember a leader who ignored his team's concerns about a new process. He kept ignoring until the project failed. See, feedback is the compass that guides you. It's the most important piece of information that will help you. So, create safe spaces for honest two-way communication. Ask open-ended questions and truly listen without interrupting. Let the person finish talking. Then ask or then add your comments. Communication is a two-way street. If you're not closer to the ground in terms of feedback, you will be disconnected from the team's realities. Let's move on to mistake number 4, being inconsistent. Now, you know what erodes trust in a team? Mixed messages. They erode trust fast. If you say transparency is essential, but don't share important updates, then your words are just lip service. They're hollow. I coached a leader who told his team we are a family, but didn't address layoffs openly. The contradiction hurts morale deeply. So if you're having layoffs, let the team know the rationale. At least let them understand why the decision is made. See, consistency builds credibility. So align your words with actions and stay steady in your messaging. And if you like this video so far and find it helpful, do hit the like button so I know what content to make for you. Moving on to mistake number 5, failing to listen actively. This is also a common one. Active listening goes beyond just hearing words, it means understanding emotions and that underlying concerns. One leader I know barely nodded during conversations, no acknowledgement at all. Now he missed all signs of disengagement. Now, here are some active listening tips that you can practice. Include paraphrasing, ask clarifying questions, and maintain eye contact. Eye contact is the best way to connect with someone. And half of the folks don't do this. Pause and think if you maintain eye contact with each person you speak. If not, do it intentionally. Mistake number 6 is using jargons. Now, I won't refer to Mr. Shashi Tharoor again, but sending complex jargon filled messages can confuse your team. If your team doesn't understand the heavy words you're using, how will they connect or how would they align with you? I once saw a CEO's memo packed with buzzwords that left everyone guessing. Buzzwords might be good, but not while communicating with your team. Speak in simple, relatable terms. Use simple, easy to understand words. Focus on why it matters rather than fancy phrases. And the last one, this is by far the most common one. Mistake number 7, avoiding difficult conversations. There are so many leaders who avoid having difficult conversations completely. They either postpone or do not give time to the team to discuss these. Avoiding tough talks lets the problems grow. For instance, once a manager postponed addressing performance issues in the team, and this eventually led to the team resentment. Leaders need courage to approach discomfort with empathy. Prepare for it, focus on problems, not personalities, and seek collaborative solutions. Leaders who shy away from conflict let the problems grow. So address issues with empathy and honesty. So now that you're aware of these critical leadership communication mistakes, I have created a simple checklist for you that you can use. You can take a screenshot and keep it for future reference. It is a continuous improvement process. So, how do we improve your leadership communication? Checking for understanding regularly, prioritizing key messages, encouraging feedback actively, practicing active listening daily, using clear, simple language, addressing issues promptly. Lastly, I have a small mental activity for you. Reflect on the last conversation that you had with your team. Did you fall into any of these pitfalls? Pick one mistake to focus on this week and watch how your leadership presence and team connection improve. Share your experiences with me, or you can ask me any leadership questions that you have, any scenarios that you're stuck in, and I can answer them for you. Put it in the comments. I'm here to help you grow as a communicator and a leader. Share this with someone who will benefit. And do subscribe to my channel for more leadership and communication tips. I post videos every week. Today's video will help you build on your emotional maturity because I will share a simple framework that will help you stay calm when everything goes wrong. But first, let's understand the type of people that you're dealing with. Every workplace has two types of people: those who react instantly and make situations worse, and those who respond wisely and make situations better. Earlier in my career, I observed a project review meeting where deadlines were missed, tensions were high, and blame was flying everywhere. Most people defended themselves, they raised their voices, or they shut down emotionally. But there was this one manager who stayed calm, steady, focused. He didn't argue, he didn't blame, he didn't panic. He simply said, Here are the mistakes I made. Here's what I learned. And here's what I'll change next time. That moment earned him massive respect. Not because he was perfect, but because he showed emotional maturity when others showed insecurity. Leadership starts where ego ends. Emotional maturity doesn't mean you don't feel anything. It means that you don't let your emotions decide your actions. People follow leaders who stay steady when things get messy. And here is a simple framework that you can use to stay emotionally controlled. Calm, CALM. C is clarify what's happening. A, accept your emotions without acting on them. L is look for solutions instead of blame. And M is maintain composure through pauses and your tone. This isn't psychology, it's a practical way to lead under pressure. And to further get better at EQ, follow these 6 practical steps. The first one is clarify what's happening. Reacting without clarity creates the chaos. Before responding, you ask, what exactly is the issue? And look at only facts. For example, instead of everyone is against me, say 3 tasks were delayed due to unclear ownership. Facts, they calm the mind. Assumptions, they provoke it. The second one is accept your emotions. Don't deny them. Emotional maturity is not pretending you're a robot. It's feeling emotions without letting them take over your behavior. So say this to yourself silently. I'm angry right now, and that's okay. But I won't act out of anger. This keeps you in control, not your ego. The third one is look for solutions, not blame. Blame feels good in the moment, but it doesn't fix anything. When something goes wrong, try this. What can we do next to prevent this? Or here's what I'll do differently next time. Blame is emotional discharge. Solution is emotional discipline. The fourth one is maintain composure, posture, pace, tone. Your body reveals your emotions before your words do. So follow these simple rules. Sit or stand tall, don't collapse. Speak slowly than usual. Slower speech signals control. Lower your volume instead of raising it. Quiet confidence is powerful. Now, here's a phrase: I need a moment to collect my thoughts. I'll respond shortly. That line alone can save reputations. The fifth one is stop reacting instantly. Create a gap. Immediate reactions are driven by emotion. Controlled responses are driven by intention. So practice this age old secret. Count to 3 before replying. Breathe once before speaking in heated moments. Say, let me think instead of arguing. A small pause can prevent months of damage. And the last one, don't take everything personally. Most things that upset you were never about you. It was someone else's stress, someone else's insecurity, someone else's bad day. Ask, is this a real attack or am I letting my ego drive the response? Responding without ego is emotional strength. And this one is important. This is a real world application that you can use. So in your next stressful moment, don't react instantly. Take a pause, clarify the issue, respond with facts and solutions, and keep your tone low and steady. People will notice because calm is rare. Let's take an example. Let's do a role play. So let's say before you would say, I can't believe this. This always happens because nobody listens to me. Now, this is the after. I'm frustrated, but let's focus on fixing it. 3 deliverables slipped. Here's what I'll improve. And here's what I need from the team going forward. Maturity is visible in how you speak when you're triggered. So do this small 30-second reflection. Ask yourself, what situation triggers me the most? And how will I respond differently next time? And here is a simple exercise for the next 7 days. When triggered, take one deep breath. Pause 3 seconds. Respond with facts plus next steps. Track how many conflicts disappear without escalation. Your strength as a leader isn't measured when everything is smooth. It's measured when everything is falling apart. Anyone can be confident when things are easy. True leadership is staying grounded when your emotions want to explode. Calm is not a weakness. Calm is command.
I don't know. Have you said these 3 words ever? I bet you have. You would have at some point in life. But as a leader, have you said, I don't know? Maybe not. Why? Because leaders should know everything, right? Wrong. Leaders need not know everything. They don't have answers to every question. And it's absolutely all right to say, I don't know. It's not a sign of weakness. It's not a negative reflection. It shows that you're authentic as a leader. People will trust you more if you say, I don't know, rather than faking it. If you make up an answer, even if you don't have the answer, that people will catch. And you don't want to do that. It takes courage as a leader to say, I don't know. Admitting that you don't know is healthy and empowering. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you're a great leader. So next time if anyone asks you something that you don't know, you say, good question. I will find out and get back to you.
And that is the Communication Skills Masterclass. Done. If you've made it here, you now have more practical communication knowledge than most people collect over years of trial and error. But knowledge without action is just entertainment. So let's make it count. Pick one thing from today, one word to eliminate, one habit to build, one way to show up differently in your next meeting. Just one. Communication doesn't change overnight, but it does change. And it starts with a single decision to be more intentional with your words. If this masterclass added value to your life, share it, because the best communicators are always generous with what they know. And leave a comment telling me which chapter changed something for you or which chapter connected with you. And subscribe if you want more. I'll be here every week. I'm Ravi Motwani. Speak well, lead better, and I'll see you in the next one.